Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another reaction video. As I have been saying, the lockdown is still on because the pandemic is still raging. Anyway, that means I have a lot of time to go on YouTube and watch all kinds of videos. And I came across this guy edited Jurassic Park to fit in the accurate description of how those dinosaurs would appear. So, without further ado, let's see what he came up with.
This is what the original Jurassic Park T-Rex breakout scene looks like. And this is what it looks like if it were done today with our modern understanding of dinosaurs. At the time, these were the most scientifically accurate dinosaurs we had ever seen on screen. But after 29 years, they're obviously a bit outdated. Which begs the question, what would these iconic movie scenes look like with modern depictions of these magnificent animals? Well, to answer that, I went ahead and made scientifically accurate models of these 4 dinosaurs from the Jurassic Park franchise and added them back into the movies.
How'd you do this?
I knew that I had to start nowhere else but with everyone's favorite queen, Rexy. I needed her to be based around real science and everything we now know about the real animal. So I downloaded this 3D scan of a real fossil and dropped it into Blender. But the head was a bit wonky. I then remembered that I had this guy sitting right next to me. So I went outside, took some photos with my phone, and after putting it into some software, bam, an accurate, unwonky T-Rex skull. And this provided the perfect base to start sculpting. This is where I really get to build up the forms and shapes of the creature, and just really get her to look like a real, well-fed, living animal. This is actually my favorite part of the whole process. 50 million polygons later, the sculpt is all done. And now we're missing one more thing, color. Which is one of those things that doesn't fossilize. So what color should our dinosaurs be? Well, it's likely the dinosaurs were very brightly colored, just like modern birds, more brightly colored than the ones in the movies. Except, any real fan will know that those dinosaurs are supposed to be female, which means that the more dull and brown coloring from the movie might actually be fairly accurate. So, since it wasn't broken, I decided not to fix it. I then gave it a skeleton, and did something I've never done before. I added muscle simulation for that extra sense of realism. Once the model is finished, here is where you really see what has changed. She's chunkier, has lips, but other than that, it's actually not that much of a deviation, which goes to show how accurate the Jurassic Park T-Rex really was for the time. But where are the feathers? Well, T-Rex probably didn't have any. You see, it was probably just too big to have feathers. It would be akin to an elephant wearing a coat in the savannah. It would have made the animal overheat. Maybe a peach fossil covering a seen in prehistoric planet would have been possible, but there's little evidence for that also. And so, following Occam's razor and to save on some render time, I'm opting on a featherless T-Rex. In fact, she was so big that she probably couldn't even run, but her legs were so long that she could probably still beat you in a race. And I was also able to add this animated raindrop material to really make her feel nice and wet. And to bring her into the movie was a process of matching the camera position and lighting of the original footage, rendering that out, and then comping her into the scenes inside of After Effects. And now, before we see everything put together, there's only one thing left to do, and that's tell you about today's...
Wow. Even before I can see the results, I can see that is a lot of dedication. Wow, this guy went through a lot. Wow, this guy is, that's some dedication right there. Wow. And it's... okay, it's always interesting because I watch a lot of these kind of debunking videos and these kind of, things that are inaccurate in history and people trying to debunk them and come up with the most accurate thing. But I must say, this is kind of, wow, this is a lot of work and to edit all those frames and to edit the whole thing, wow, that's a lot of work that someone has decides to, because I would bet that this must have taken a lot of his time, maybe a few days or maybe a few weeks to do this, because wow, all that, even the software doing all this. But anyway, I think it's good for the goal he's trying to do, because watching most of these Hollywood movies, I know there are a lot of historical inaccuracies. There's a lot of, as I said, the animals are inaccurate, but wow, I can give a big thumbs up for what he has done. But let's see the results.
It's time to see what Jurassic Park would look like with a scientifically accurate T-Rex.
Where's the goat?
Wow. But now looking at it, and I think this is why the old way, the original version of the Jurassic Park. I think the reason why they put it with it's more bony. It has a lot of skills. It is it has a sharp. I think they do that for cinematic purposes to make it more scary and. Just look at this thing. It just looks like a big, it's like a pig. It's so smooth and it's not scary at all. So I think as much as they are not accurate, I think their version also, it fits, the feeling of the movie, the whole cinematic things that they are trying to achieve. Because looking at this, okay, it might be accurate scientifically, but then again, for movies, for it maybe it won't give the same kind of reaction.
A few moments later.
Tim! Don't move. You can't see us if we don't move.
Oh yeah, also forgot to mention that T-Rex might have the best eyesight, like, ever. So... However, T-Rex isn't the only dinosaur in this series. So next up are the main villains of the franchise, the Velociraptors. Now these guys need to be terrifying, but you see, a real Velociraptor was about the size of a dog, not very scary, which explains why Spielberg based them on the biggest raptor they had yet found, Deinonychus. But even these guys weren't big enough, so what are we to do? Luckily for us, during filming, they found this guy, a 6 foot tall, 18-foot long raptor giant.
Yeah, so
this
actually,
they
actually go in depth to look at these fossils and whatever before they make the movie. Wow, I've never known that. I thought these guys are just, they are sci-fi. They do their artistic thing without maybe being too concerned about the scientific facts. But wow, wow. That's another thing as I've just known now.
Raptor. I again started with a skeleton, and guys, its head was about the size of a man's torso. For a quick comparison, here's the difference between a Velociraptor, a Deinonychus, and finally, the Utahraptor. This guy is terrifying, except for its jaw. Some people might think I made a mistake, but no, it very much looked like that. It was perfect for gobbling up hot dogs or starting a shrimp business. And, unlike the T-Rex, this guy was definitely covered in feathers. So, the little fat kid in the movie who says,
More like a 6-foot turkey.
So you have chosen death.
Was more right than he could ever know. Because you see, not only would it have looked like a giant turkey, but it probably would have been about as intelligent. Which leads us to a question I want to address. Could a raptor have opened a door as shown in the movie? Well, not even modern birds can figure out how to... Oh, well then, that's good to know. However, unlike humans, dinosaurs couldn't pronate their wrists. And so if they tried this, well, their wrists would break. So I had to animate it in such a way that it could grip the handle without its palm. With the animation and model now finished, we once again go through the process of coming here into the scenes, and without further ado, here you have the kitchen scene from Jurassic Park with a scientifically accurate raptor.
And even before we go on, first of all, the fact that it is opening the door like that, of course, now this way it gets, just for the movie, but in real life, how many animals can do that? That they run after you, you get behind a door, and they specifically take the handle and open. No, is it? This is why you're watching some of these movies. As much as you sink in the story and you are going with what the movie is doing, but sometimes some of these little things they just put you back, and you just look at as in just a sci-fi movie, just for theatrical purposes. But anyway, let's continue.
Timmy, what is it? It's a raptor.
And this is another thing that I've been here. Okay, for those of you of my friends who know me, that this is a thing that I always point out about Hollywood movies, and I've never had a chance to say this, but now that I'm making this video, let me talk about the animals, not even dinosaurs, any animals in these Hollywood movies. This thing they do, the growling, the making of the noise, when they are not either being threatened, they are not attacking, they just, they are just moving, hunting their thing, and they just make noise. It's so inaccurate, and I'm saying this as a person who have seen wild animals. Not in a zoo, not in a game reserve. I'm talking about wild animals in the wild, where they belong. And I've seen how they behave. I've seen an elephant. I've seen a leopard. I've seen a hyena. So I know I'm not saying this just to bash this kind of movies, but I say most of them, especially for the predatory animals, like I say, I've seen a leopard. One thing that you will notice with these animals is that they are very quiet. They don't go around making noises. If a leopard is after you, you would barely notice it, and until the last fraction of the second when it is attacking you. They are normally very quiet and very, stealthy. They don't go around just. So that is one thing that I just in this, and I've just remembered. This puts me off every time because, as I said, because I'm in Africa, we see these things in the wild. They are not in a zoo. They have not been trained. They are not in a game reserve. We just encounter them in the wild, and you can notice this even with the lions and everything, is that most of them, they don't go around growling like that. But anyway, let's continue.
But now let's see it with an accurate velociraptor. Next up is a dinosaur who's probably...
Come on. I think this guy is just roasting Spielberg.
call up the worst, the Spinosaurus. Now, to be fair, in 2001, when they made the third movie, there wasn't that much information available. However, recent discoveries has given us a much better look at one of the franchise's most controversial dinosaurs. And oh boy, are you guys in for a ride.
one could possibly say about dinosaurs, even in fiction. But it's T-Rex.
It pretty much comes down to T-Rex being just too heavily armored by dinosaurs, especially when compared to Spinosaurus. With its super powerful bite force, as soon as he got the initial neck bite in, well, it's game over. However, I actually love this Spinosaurus.
Yeah, but I think as much as some of these facts are inaccurate in the movies, I think they do it for as I said, for theatrical, for cinematic purposes. Because otherwise, if they do it with the correct facts, I think the movie would not be so enjoyable.
And I think the debate takes away from how cool and unique this dinosaur really was. So instead, for recreation, since everything about his anatomy points to him being a swimmer, there's no better scene to recreate than the one in the river, to really show off Spinosaurus in its natural habitat. And once again, with all that out of the way, here is Jurassic Park 3 with a scientifically accurate Spinosaurus.
Charlie!
A few moments later.
I wanted to do at least one dinosaur from the new movies, but considering the first two films feature fictionalized hybrids, there was only one option.
Oh, and I remember there's one of these Jurassic Park movies. There was one that they produced, and there was a lot of negative feedback about the I think one of the dinosaurs they put in there. It was just, it's people are reacting negatively to it. I can't remember the exact movie, but it's one of the newer ones, not the old ones.
Biggest carnivore the world has ever seen.
The Giganotosaurus. And oh boy. Now this, while definitely a cool design, is also one of the least accurate depictions of any dinosaur in the entire franchise.
Yeah,
especially considering we have quite a few false.
Even looking at this thing.
Now this, while definitely a cool design, is also one of the
look at this thing. It looks more like a dragon than a dinosaur. So I think also, as much as they are doing it for the movie and to have the kind of reaction people will have watching the movie, I think they should also try to put a balance between the how accurate it is and how realistic it is, and also as they also on the other side consider the cinematic purpose. So I think this one they had moved too much on one side of the sci-fi side. But anyway, let's continue.
Giganotosaurus. Biggest carnivore the world has ever seen.
A few moments later.
And again, as I said, I don't think that is how such a beast would be just standing there and, you are toying with it. As I said, most of the things about these movies are so inaccurate that you have to ignore them and just go with the story.
And there you have Jurassic Park with scientifically accurate dinosaurs. Let me know which one was your favorite. And alright guys, subscribe.
Yeah, wow. I like the kind of work this guy has gone through to produce this. It's very informative, and it opens our eyes to some of these things that we ignore. As much as, we may be we might enjoy a lot of these movies. Which was your favorite scientifically accurate dinosaur? Mine was the little bird that was smashed by the door. Because that was just that was just a slap in the face of Steven Spielberg. But anyway, wow, I give a thumbs up for this guy, and I hope he continues to produce more of these kinds of videos. So let me know what you think about this, and if you're not subscribed, kindly do. Please do it. It only takes 1 second, and also hit the like button. So until next time, stay safe. Peace. I'm out.